Hello all. Title of our project is Fraud Prevention on Crowdfunding Platforms. Project is developed by Ashish Gangaramani and Megha Sahu of Information Technology Department from Vivekanand Education Society's Institute of Technology, Mumbai, under the guidance of Professor Mrs. Asha Bharambi. A problem statement of our project focuses on crowdfunding platforms on which campaign creators simply create the campaign, raise the funds, and just flee away without delivering the end result. The main reason behind it is the lack of transparency between campaign creators and the contributors. So, to overcome this transparency issue, we would be using blockchain technology. The motivation of our project would be creating a solution by which we overcome the frauds on crowdfunding platforms at a certain degree and then creating a web-based application demonstrating our solution. So the unique features of our project would be allowing users to easily connect to the blockchain network with a better user interface experience, maintaining the transparency between campaign manager and the contributors, where campaign manager exactly justifies for what exactly the money is being used for. Architecture of a campaign is as follows. The campaign contributors would be donating the ethers to the contract instead directly donating to the manager. Manager specifies the reason for the request. If more than 50% of contributors agrees to the request, then the ethers get transferred to the vendor, and the vendor in return would deliver products to the campaign manager required for creation of the project. So our site is hosted on this URL. This is the home page. We could explore all the campaigns. You can see. Then the campaign manager could easily create a campaign right here. We will enter title of our contract. We will enter minimum contribution. It would be in V. So this much, and here we would have to add a description. So this would be a description. As you can see, we could like format our description with the help of like heading 3, or we have to add bullet points or so, something like that. We could easily do that. We could embed images or embed videos, or like embed code or something like that. Then we will select an image, select this image, open. Then we will click on a category, what type of category this campaign is. So this is a hardware project, so I will check on that. Then I will hit publish, but make sure the account that is selected is contributors, sorry, managers. So if manager account is selected, I will hit publish. So MetaMask asks for confirmation that manager wants to create this campaign. So I will confirm it. MetaMask, as you can see, it is processing this request, but because it is a blockchain, uh, it takes like 15 seconds to like enter our data on blockchain. So we have to wait for like 15 to 20 seconds. As you can see, it is created, and a new campaign titled Smart Home is created. So a contributor can access this campaign once he goes here. As you can see, uh, this was a campaign that was created. The contributor can see this campaign. As you can see, like these are all the details about the campaign, minimum contribution, this description that we added, related campaigns. Here the like users could like discuss about their this project. So they will add a comment here. So I'll post this comment. As you can see, the comment is created. Like we could also share this project on Twitter or Facebook. You can see this URL is created. Now suppose contributor wants to contribute some amount in Ether to this campaign. So he will enter the amount in Ether. Let's suppose this contributor wants to contribute like 0.001 Ether. We'll select the account, contributor 1, will hit contribute. Again, MetaMask will ask for confirmation. We'll hit confirm. As you can see, transaction is confirmed and successfully contributor has donated to the campaign. When we refresh this page, you can see now the number of approver, that is the campaign, the contributors is 1 and the balance of this campaign is 0.001. Now suppose another contributor comes, he wants to donate to this campaign. We will enter the campaign, we will contribute. Suppose he contributes 0.002 ethers, we will hit on contribute. We have to make sure it is contributor 2. This is a different contributor, so 0.002 contribute. Again that confirmation. Now loading time of 15 to 20 seconds. As you can see, transaction is confirmed. That means we have successfully contributed. As you can see, two number of contributors and 0.003 is campaign balance. Now suppose the contributor wants to see the request that for what he want campaign manager wants to uh, money for. So now the campaign manager will add a request, he will give a description like bulb will enter value in ether, that will be 0.001. Recipient, this would be the the campaign, this would be the uh, vendor from whom the commodities would be delivered. So we will enter his address. This is his address. Now we will hit on create. Make sure it is manager, because manager could only create the request. Manager create. Again confirmation. Now if we see, we can see the request is successfully created. Now what campaign manager has created request, he wants bulbs, so the contributors will first approve this request. If they approve, if more so sorry, because previous video abruptly stopped the recording. as I was working on this request, this bulb request, but I have created a similar request, which is switchboard, just like a previous one. So as I was saying, the campaign manager would be able to finalize the request only and only if the contributors, more than 50% of contributor, uh, like gives an approval for this request. So let us approve this from contributor one side. So contributor one, let's approve, confirm. It is confirmed. Now if we refresh it, you could see one out of two contributors have approved this request. Now let us hit approve request for contributor 2. Contributor 2 approves it. Confirm this. As you can see, it is confirmed. Now if we refresh, now it is indicated in green. That means the manager can finalize this request, and the amount 0.001 would be transferred to the shop or the vendor who will deliver the products. So he will hit finalize. Manager will hit finalize. Confirm. Now, if we monitor the shop balance, it would be increased by 0.001 ether because that's the amount we entered previously. As you can see, 0.006, it incremented by 0.001. That means the shop successfully received the ethers. Now he would deliver the products to the campaign manager and he would develop the application. Now if we refresh it, because it was finalized, the contributors could not interact with this request anymore because it is finalized and the products are delivered to the campaign manager. So that's all about our project. Thank you.
The title of our project is Digital Certificate Generation Using Blockchain and QR Code. This project is developed by Sanjay Ninyani, Latika Gurnani, and Jiten Tulani of Information Technology Department from Vivekanand Education Society's Institute of Technology under the mentorship of Professor Mrs. Pooja Shetty. So now let us look at the motivation for this project. When a student graduates, either he goes for the higher education or applies for a job where they are required to submit various certificates and transcripts. It has been observed that the generation of the manual certificates and transcripts is a laborious task, and also there is no proper system of verification of the certificates from the graduating institutes. Paper certificates can be lost, and reapplying is also a tedious procedure. Academic institutes also face a long standing issue with the counterfeit of the certificates. So, now let us look at the idea of this project. Our project aims at developing an electronic or digital certificate generation and verification system which helps in reducing the manual task of generation and distribution. Also, it aims to enhance the verification of the certificate. The system that reduces the likelihood of the forgery and manipulation of the certificates and also keeps the sensitive data secured. This can be achieved using blockchain and embedding QR code on each certificate. We have use blockchain technology and QR to decrease the frauds and manipulation in the certificate. The main problem is the lack of the security and traceability. Blockchain can help reduce these as it is an immutable ledger which is distributed across all the stakeholders addressing the authentication process. The QR code holds a considerably greater amount of volume of the information and seems as an ideal option for verification and easy access of the certificates. So this was our project idea. Now let us look at the software requirements. We have used Ethereum blockchain and we have used Ganache as a virtual server which provides virtual nodes, and the framework used here is Truffle and Web3.js. Truffle is a development environment for the blockchain and Web3.js is a JavaScript framework. We have written contracts using Solidity. The virtual wallet used here is MetaMask. The front end is developed using HTML, CSS, Bootstrap and jQuery. Now let us look at the flow of the project. First, the college or the school verifies the student details and grants it to the system. After receiving the data of the students, the system would store the data in the blockchain for the security. Once the data is stored in the blockchain, it would generate the e-certificates of the students with the unique QR code embedded on it. Once the certificates are generated, a system would email the certificate to the students and the students can download it from a site. As the students receive the e-certificate, the students can use this certificate or apply or to send to any company or organization. The company can verify the received certificate just by scanning the QR code, which would take it to a system, and thus it is verified. This was the flow of the project. So now let us look at the certificate generation module. After the certificate issuers have entered the information of the graduate, the system generates an e-certificate containing a QR code after few verifications. The data of the e-certificate is then recorded in the blockchain. Next, the system sends a notification of the e-certificate link to the graduate and student can download it. Now let us see at the demo of the project. When the issuer logs into the system, there are many certificate templates to choose from, such as academic, cultural, sports, competitions. Once selected, it shows the options of adding each student one by one or directly uploading the Excel sheet containing the list of the students, that is the bulk upload. The fields here are the committee name, the certificate title, and the uploading of the Excel sheet. Once uploaded and submitted, each important info is stored in the block and also goes to the head of the department to verify the certificate. The Excel sheet contains the student name, class, rank, field and email. The email are for sending the mail to the students after the certificates are generated. Once the HOD logins, all the pending requests are shown and the HOD verifies the certificate. Once clicked on the verify button, the list of the students appears before the HOD and the HOD can verify as well as reject any certificate. Once the HOD accepts it, it goes to the principal for final verification. Also, the mail is sent to the principal, and when the principal logins, this is the last step of verification, and when the principal logins, the certificates are shown, and once the principal verifies the certificate, the unique QR is generated for each certificate and the link is mailed to the students, and the students can visit the link and see their certificate. they can see the same certificate which was generated, and with the QR code embedded on it, the students can download the certificates for the future use, and they can share the same certificate with the different people they want to. Now let us look at the verification module. When the company acquires an e-certificate link or soft copy of the certificate from a job applicant, they can verify the veracity of the associate certificate either by scanning the QR code or by using the link provided by the job applicant. The message valid certificate is displayed only when the information from the applicant matches the information in the system. Now let us see at the demo of the verification. The system has the two options of verifying the certificate. One is by entering the URL. Another is by scanning the QR code. Once the URL is entered, it checks for the existence, and if correct, it takes us to the certificate of the student. This way we can verify the certificate using the link given. The second is by opening the QR reader in the system. It opens the QR reader. This certificate of Jiten Tulani, I am going to scan the QR code and see whether it is authenticated. Once I scan and it is authenticated, it takes us to the certificate, which is the same one as I had scanned. This way the system verifies the certificate, and you can see this is the same certificate of Jiten Tulani which I had scanned with the QR code and all embedded on it. So now let us look at the results obtained. Thus, the proposed new blockchain-based approach will reduce the certificate forgery to a large extent. Organization can thus get information about any certificate at any time from the system, adding to the saving on paper cut and management cost. Also, the system assures information accuracy and security. Now, let us look at the future scope. To further enhance the purpose solution, the system could be scaled up to the university level for generating and digitizing the entire process of verification and authentication of the document. Thank you.
Hello everyone, myself Anurag Shelar. My team members are Milan Hazra and Abhishek Kaudare. Our project is guided by Dr. Manoj Sabnis. We belong to Vivekanand Education Society's Institute of Technology from the Department of Information Technology. Our project is blockchain-based e-voting system. So, what problem are we trying to address? We are trying to address the problem of election system. In general, the election system. We know India is a big democracy, a democracy of 130 crore people. Even though our Indian election authorities claim that EVM systems are safe, secure, they do not have any vulnerability, but we do know that they suffer from significant vulnerabilities. We do understand that a lot of time and resources are involved while conducting elections, and not only elections are required elections are required for Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, but they are also required in general in corporates as well as in schools and colleges. So why have we never thought of an alternate of EVM systems or a chit based paper based systems? The alternate to such systems would be having a web based version, but we all know that web based versions will be suffering from significant vulnerabilities as well, such as the major vulnerability could be if we get access to the database. In that case, votes can be manipulated, and this is not a good sign. So what technology can we adopt which could act as an alternative to the existing system? The technology we thought of using blockchain. Now, what features of blockchain do we have so that it can be used in a voting system? First is decentralized technology. In case of a blockchain, no one holds control of the entire network. Everyone holds a copy of the network. In case of the Indian elections, we have uh, a central authority, whereas if elections are conducted in schools and colleges, we have a central authority everywhere. But in case of blockchain based voting systems, we don't have a central authority. Second point is secure ecosystem. In case of blockchain based systems, it is not possible to tamper the uh, data. Computationally it is next to impossible. Third point is consensus. Core architecture and consensus algorithm in blockchain are very important. When we say consensus algorithm, we actually mean proof of work and the different algorithms which are used to validate while adding a block to a blockchain. Fourth point is distributed ledger. A distributed ledger, it's the same point that data is not stored at a centralized place. Everyone holds a copy of it. The last point is chronological and time stamped. Every block is time stamped so that no fraudulent transactions take place in the network. So what solution are we proposing? We are proposing a three-phase solution. First is voter registration. In voter registration, anyone who wishes to vote will be added into the system so that only verified voters will be allowed to vote. Here we can see uh, voter registers. It is verified by a verification authority, and his validation status changes. Now validation status, like how we have implemented it, is, let's say it will be 0 initially, and once the voter verifies his details and the verification authority verifies, the validation status will be changed to 1. It indicates that he is eligible to vote. The second phase would be candidate registration. In case of candidate registration, a candidate will contest the election. Even his validation status will change. For example, if a voter wants to become a candidate, in that case we have a separate validation stage. All of this has been taken care at the back end. And the third phase, which is the most important phase in our project, which is the election day. On election day, what exactly happens is voters permission changes. Now when we don't have an election, the voter should not have permission to vote on our portal. In that case his permission will be 0, but on the day of election his permission will be changed to 1. Next he will be casting his vote, and next that vote will be counted for a particular candidate, and once the vote has been casted, again the voting permission has to be changed. So this has been taken care of in our system as well. So hello everyone, we are group number 4. Myself Anurag Shelar and my team members are Abhishek Kaudare and Milan Hazra. Today I'll be demonstrating our project implementing voting with the help of blockchain technology. So let us go ahead with the demo. So I'll just start my servers. So this is one of the server which I have started. Ganache CLI is required for demonstrating blockchain. Next I will start my node server. So I'm starting my node server. This is for the front end part. The Ganache server is also getting started. So as soon as both of these servers start, we are ready to go with our demo. Yeah. So the Ganache is started, and yeah, the node server is also running. This app listening on port. So let's start with our demo. So So this is the landing page. So if this system is installed on any system, on any this technology, if it is installed on any system, you will first need to have a username and password. So I'll just enter the username and password. Yeah. So this is the first step. Yeah, the system to work. Then what we have done is we have mapped Aadhaar numbers to mobile numbers. So for that purpose, let's say this is number 2. This is the Aadhaar number. You'll get a OTP. Now for every Aadhaar number there will be a mobile number which is linked. So for number 2 I had assigned my mobile number. So you can see here I just received a message. It's 3:31. I just received a message right now. This is my OTP 730488. So I'll just verify if it is the correct OTP. If the OTP is correct, only then and then I'll be getting access to the system. You can see it has given me my page where I'll be able to vote. Right now we have 4 candidates, and against each candidate we have a vote button. So let's say I vote for, let's say, the last option, Shiv Sena Aditya Thackeray. You'll get a prompt saying vote submitted to Aditya Thackeray. Press OK and you're out of the system. Now it is important that the results get tracked at the same time. Okay, so let us check if the vote has been counted or not. And yeah, you can see against the party for Aditya Thackeray we have 1. Initially it was 0. So let's try for another one. So I have another number associated with this other number. So let's see. Yeah, so this is the OTP 665028. Okay, I'll just enter it, 65028. And since it's the correct OTP, we get access to the system. Let's say he votes for BJP. Devendra Fadnavis. Vote is submitted to the correct candidate. Now this may also happen that many a times what people say is you vote for one candidate, vote goes for another. So just to have a double check, we have kept this prompt here. So it's press OK, and yeah. So even Devendra Fadnavis one is showing and Aditya one is showing. Now what I wanted to demonstrate is one candidate should not be able to vote twice, right? So let's say other number 2 voted initially. What will happen if he tries to get a OTP again? Okay, so let us see. So I got this OTP 042769. 42769. Now, uh, ideally in elections, one candidate should not be able to vote twice, one voter, right? So if I verify OTP, I don't get access to the system. If you see, the URL has also changed to /voted. It means that I won't be able to vote twice. So this functionality I just demonstrated. Now what I want to demonstrate is that if I enter incorrect OTP, what happens? So for that purpose, let's say I use another number, number 8. All right, number 8 is another contact number. So I'm waiting for the OTP to be received. Anyways, I don't need the OTP. I just wanted to demonstrate what happens if I enter the incorrect OTP. So let's say I enter something like this. So in that case, I'll see a error prompt saying that the SMS verification code used to create is invalid, and it means that if you enter incorrect OTP, you won't be able to sign in. It says enter valid OTP, and since we don't have a valid OTP, let's say I tried to get it at this number again. This is another number. I think there is a network issue with that number. So I just received OTP on another phone. This is the correct OTP. I got access to the system. Now you also need to check that if the votes are getting counted or not properly. Now since we done 3 correct votes, let's see the result. Yeah, 2 votes went for Aditya Thackeray and 1 vote went for Devendra Fadnavis. Uh, so yeah, this is our demo. If I'm able, if I have to show you the command prompt, you can see each transaction is being recorded here. So for every vote, we have two transactions taking place. One is when the actual voting occurs, when we vote for a particular candidate, it gets counted as a transaction. And second is when we sign in into the system. So see, we had three votes, right? Two votes for party 4 and one vote for party 1. So three votes, so we have six blocks. So the first block is when we sign in and the second block is when we vote. So these are the two transactions for each block. Now the advantage of this blockchain based voting system is we don't have any database, so this system cannot be manipulated in any way. So the major problems with voting systems on the web is that you might be able to manipulate the votes, and this is not fair. These are not free and fair elections in a way. So the biggest advantage of blockchain based voting system is these blocks cannot be manipulated. Even if you try to manipulate this block, you will have to manipulate each of these blocks, and this is computationally impossible. And this is where we take advantage of blockchain based voting system. At the same time, there is no central authority will keep a who will keep a track. So and anyone who gets a copy of the network, he can vote, and at the same time he can verify the transactions so that there are no fraudulent voting that happens in the system place. At the same time, these kind of in this kind of systems, we won't be able to backtrack as to, let's say, A is voting for B. So we cannot backtrack that. Whenever we see the votes for B, we don't get to know who has actually voted for A, but we come to know that someone has voted for B. So this is the major advantage, that anonymity is preserved in this voting system. So yeah, this is our project, blockchain based voting system. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Dheeraj Aswani and my project partners are Juhi Mulchandani and Sahil Sadwani. We are students of VESIT, Department of Information Technology, and we have developed this project named Pharma Ledger under the guidance of our mentor Mrs. Vinita Mishra. Now let us have a look at the problem statement of our project. So our aim is to solve the problem of drug manufacturers as they are struggling to find an effective way to securely, transparently and rapidly track the origin of these drugs or access data required to combat counterfeit drug sales. Any fraud in the drug industry may lead to catastrophic effects, damaging several lives. Centralized database to store the information of the drug supply chain is highly susceptible to unauthorized modifications, which might lead to loss of all the stakeholders. Thus, there is a need for high transparency and distribution in the system. So now let us look at the solution which our software is able to provide. So our application, that is Pharma Ledger, is a supply chain monitoring software for drugs. Our objective is to reduce counterfeit drugs from the supply chain, which costs the life of people and ensures goals such as end-to-end visibility of drug, inferred trust between stakeholders, fraud detections, and cost effectiveness. Through blockchain technology, the distributed ledger technology would allow information about each transaction across the process to be viewed and not changed. This could highlight where any issues are and help business involved in making changes to improve efficiencies. Okay, so now let us look at the features which are provided by our application. So the first feature is end-to-end visibility of drugs using smart contracts and consensus algorithm provided by blockchain enables the transparency in the system. Second, traceability of drugs using automatically generated QR codes and monitored temperature data from IoT sensors, and expiry drugs are also tracked. Third, privacy is ensured. Cryptographic hash functions are used to encrypt data. Fourth, fraud detection will be enabled by the transparent and auditable features of blockchain and IoT. Fifth, temperature restricted drugs are monitored and tracked with the help of IoT sensors. So now let us look at the hardware and software requirements. So in hardware section, we need Arduino Uno DHT11 sensor and 9-volt battery to power Arduino. Okay, and software we need Ethereum, which acts as a blockchain platform, MetaMask, which acts as an Ethereum wallet, Truffle, which is a Solidity framework, Ganache, which serves as an virtual address provider for blockchain nodes, Web3.js, which is a JavaScript framework, and in front end, some front-end technologies such as HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, and jQuery. Okay, so now let us understand the stakeholders involved in the system and their functionality. So the first stakeholder is the manufacturer. So the manufacturer produces the drugs and marks it with a unique code. A unique hash is produced and the information is stored on the blockchain. So now the manufacturer sends the drug to the wholesaler. The wholesaler verifies the origin of the product. The transaction between the manufacturer and the wholesaler is then added to the blockchain. And similarly now the wholesaler will send the drugs to the pharmacist. The pharmacist will verify the origin of the product, and this transaction between the wholesaler and the pharmacist is again added to the blockchain. So now the customer will buy some drugs from the pharmacist, and customer can also scan the QR code and get the track of the product, like the entire life cycle of the product. And similarly this transaction is also stored to the blockchain. So now let us see the working of our software. Okay, so now manufacturer will log in to the system. So as you can see, manufacturer name Sahil is logging in to the system. As soon as he logs in, he can see the dashboard. Manufacturer now can add the product. Okay, so we will now add one product named Coronel. Okay, it also we can add production cost, wholesaler selling rate, MRP, product power, expiry date, quantity of the product, and as well as image too. Now product will be get added. So as you can see, Coronel is added, and manufacturer can also delete the existing products. Okay, now manufacturer can check the pending orders from the wholesalers. So now what we will do is we will log in as a wholesaler and we will place one order to the manufacturer. So as you can see, wholesaler name Chirag is logging into the system. Okay, so now wholesaler will place one new order to the manufacturer named Sahil. So all the products produced by manufacturer Sahil gets listed over here, and we can select the product and add quantity and place order. So now we will go to manufacturer side and check the pending orders from the wholesalers. So as you can see, it shows Coronel from the wholesaler named Chirag. So now manufacturer will approve the products. So now as soon as the manufacturer approves, the unique QR codes are generated which are to be applied on the products. So now manufacturer will apply this QR codes on the products and send the products to the wholesaler. Okay, so now wholesaler will receive the products and check in the approved orders. So as you can see, it shows Coronel and it's approved by the manufacturer named Sahil. So now wholesaler will authenticate the products received from the manufacturer. So wholesaler just can scan the QR codes and it shows whether the product is authentic or not. So as you can see, it shows authenticated. Okay, so now as it shows, all products have been scanned. So this completes cycle between the wholesaler and the manufacturer. Okay, so now similarly we will log in as a retailer, and retailer can also place the order to the wholesaler. So now we are logging in as a retailer named Vanita will log into the system and will place an order to the wholesaler named Chirag. Okay, so we will select wholesaler named Chirag, one products like Coronel, and add quantity and place order. Okay, so now we will move on to the wholesaler dashboard and check if we have received some orders from retailer named Vanita. So as you can see, it shows Coronel and retailer named Vanita. So now wholesaler will approve the order from retailer. Okay, so now wholesaler will scan the same QR codes which he has received from the manufacturer. Okay, wholesaler need not generate a new QR code because we have to continue the same products which are produced by the manufacturer to retailer and to the end user. So products are scanned and approved by wholesaler. So now retailer will just authenticate the products which are received from wholesaler. So retailer will authenticate, as you can see, it shows Coronel and wholesaler name Chirag, as this product is approved by wholesaler. So now retailer will authenticate this product by scanning the QR codes present on the product. Okay, now one more product, because there were two products. So okay, so as it shows, all products have been scanned. Now retailer can add this product to the warehouse. So now retailer will sell this products to the customers, that is end user. So now end users can visit this landing page and click on authenticate button and just scan the QR code which is present on the product. So after scanning this QR code, the user will get the entire life cycle of the product, as the manufacturer name, distributor name, and when it was received by the retailer, and when it was delivered, and all other information regarding the product. Okay, so that's it about the demo for our system. Okay, so now let's see what are the results which we have obtained. So we have incorporated blockchain to provide security, trust, and authenticity, end-to-end visibility for stakeholders. A blockchain technology is a distributed ledger technology for network online data transactions that may be public or private depending on all users. It facilitates data storage in a trusted and dependable way. Traceability is ensured for all the products. Fraud detection is also taken care of. Okay, so now let us compare our proposed system with some existing versions. So as you can see, MediLedger website and TracerX website. So as you can see, there are features like end-to-end visibility, inferred trust, traceability, and fraud detection. So as you can see, traceability feature is not provided by MediLedger website, and end-to-end visibility is not provided by TracerX website. But if you are comparing this with our system, it provides all the features which are listed over here. So now I hope our system ensures all the problems which are currently faced by pharmaceutical industries in the supply chain, and I hope you liked our project. Thank you.
Hello all, I am Ujala Jha from VESIT, Department of Information Technology. So, we are presenting this project, Student Chain, which is mentored by Dr. Mrs. Shalu Chopra, and my fellow team members are Khushbu Chandani, Gaurav Sahu, all from Department of Information Technology. So, why we came up with the idea of this project? So in an academic year, we waste up to 4 lakh pages to verify the personal and academics data of students for different activities such as scholarship, placements, external activities, validations, etc. Now the generic method which we use for document submissions, which includes the photocopies and the PDFs and the printouts, are prone to manipulation because anybody can manipulate the PDFs and print them and give for the verification, and there won't be any doubt for so this requires more manual work to verify and attest them. External authority cannot verify the manipulation being done, and they have to believe that the photocopies which are being submitted to them are original. So because the verifying of integrity is slow, expensive, and inefficient, the cost of wasted over paper and manpower wastage, this all can be used to build a reliable infrastructure. So now what is our project idea? So education is the sector where introduction of blockchain brings a revolution to a way organization perceives the trust factor in the ecosystem. Our project, which is Student Chain, is a pilot project for implementing this blockchain ecosystem at an institute level for student portfolio management. So the documents which are generated in the educational phase are approved by the colleges before they are handed over to the students. So we are shifting this process over to blockchain, where we can capture these documents using an Ethereum network and store these data as an IPFS document at IPFS document network, and a digital signature is used to authorize them, and with use of proof of consensus we shift it over to the blockchain, and thus the trust level is increased in the stakeholders of the ecosystem. So coming to the flow of our project. So in our portfolio, we will first see how the portfolio verification is done. So at step number 1, which is here, we can see that a candidate opens the verified portal. So our student chain is having a verified portal, and candidate can come to the portal. They can enter the student unique ID, and they can view their documents. If their document is existing, then platform check is done whether students exist on the platform. If they are existing, those documents can be visible to them or to the students. Now these unique ID can a student can also give to their recruiters or to other organizations to approve their documents. So every document is having a unique ID and the student is having a unique ID. So if the students give their unique ID, which is kind of like a public key, then all their documents is visible to the recruiters or any organization they give it to. Or they can also opt to give their individual certificate ID for the document viewing purpose. So now if there is the document verification is done, the employee can also add the recruitment details of the candidate to hire them, and this block can be added to the details of the student as they are being currently employed by their organization. Now if the student is not having their genesis block, which is the first block of student existence in the document, we will create a genesis block for the user. Now in the genesis block of the user, we will have all the basic information of the candidate. Now these pool of documents can be added to the existing pool of documents of the users, and using proof of authority, we use APIs to identify the issuer, verifiers, and the users. Now these stakeholders use the proof of consensus and they verify the documents. And we also have smart contract which can update any yearly documents such as their mark sheets or their let's say certificates or any such thing which are recurrently coming out. Now these documents are digitally verified and digital certificate is given with signature available and in their wallet with shareable link of an address to validate. Now these shareable link are those public key which are used for verifying it. So going over, so what we are using as a technology stack, we are using IPFS for the reliable storage and soft copy of the documents. We are using Ethereum platform for the blockchain maintenance, which is a secure locker based storage of the data. And we are using MetaMask wallet for the Ethercoin. Now, like in BB, we purchase some storage on the server, and we have first we pay for it and then we use it. Unlike that, MetaMask wallet is a pay per use. What we do is we have some ether coins stored over it, and with every transaction some coins are deducted from it. So in that way we do it, and these coins or gas, as we call them, are deducted, and read is free and write cost gas. And we also have Node.js based web application for stakeholders to approve data which can be added on the student portfolio platform. Now, Truffle based application is used for user documents to be added or request generations, and the benefit of application is given. Now, future scope of our project. Now, currently the system has a provision of uploading documents to the IPFS, and these documents are identified by their hashes. Cracking the hashes can make the documents available to an intruder who is unauthorized to access the documents. Asymmetric encryption techniques can be used with the pair while uploading files to the IPFS for enhanced security. These files can be then encrypted with the public key of recipient, so that the decryption of so that they can decrypt it using private keys. We can also apply this concept of student change to long list of business applications such as direct benefit disbursement of scholarship, or for that matter the employee verification part or the higher education verification part, where the mark sheets of the students are verified for whenever they go for higher education. So using these unique ID generations, we can shift the whole process over the blockchain and the long paperwork can be avoided. So this is all about our project student chain. So thank you. We are all from Department of Information Technology, and also very much thank you for our mentor, Dr. Mrs. Shalu Chopra, for guiding us throughout. Thank you.